especially an opportunity at the end of the Zman to sort of put things together at the end of Baruch Hashem, a productive Zman, and looking forward to Ben Zman, hopefully used properly, and get to Elul in the beginning of the next year with the proper attitudes and desire to be successful in Ruchnis and Gashmis. The next few days, Shabbos is coming, and if you look at Shabbos from a perspective of Gashmis, physicality, it's just like any other day of the week. The sun rises, the sun sets, sometimes it's windy, it's not windy, rains maybe perhaps. It's cold. Physically, Shabbos is like any other day of the week. If you look in terms of Ruchnius, it's completely different. A person wants to strike a match during the weekday, nothing wrong with that. On Shabbos, there's a tremendous spiritual and physical. There's a Beis Din and there's a Nasrani. Beis Din can give a Misa, so it's completely different. Likewise, Klal Yisrael. You look at a Jew, looks like any other human being. It's regular. The way he dresses, perhaps, the beard, but 99% of what the Jew looks like is like any other human being in the heart there. But there's a complete difference between the two. The Ruchnis. Look at the Ruchnis of a Jew and the Ruchnis of a non-Jew, completely different. When we're thinking about Tisha B'Av and Shabbos, so Shabbos takes precedence over Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av, the fast, Be'ez Shem Mashiach still come. We won't have to have a fast for Yom Shom, but it's nitchet. It's pushed off because Shabbos is the Shabbos, and we're not going to have a veilus. We're not going to mourn on Shabbos. And we'll put the day of mourning on to the next day of Sunday. However, there's a halacha. Mr. Brewer brings down the halacha. Those who are going to be taking showers, whatever you have to do for Shabbos, l'tchila, Mr. Brewer in the halacha says the person should l'tchila take his Shabbos shower, whatever he's going to do, before Chatzos Yom. L'tchila before Chatzos Yom. B'diavad, it's not possible for some other reason. After Chatzos, it's also permissible. But l'tchila should be before. Why? Because even though Shabbos takes precedence over Tisha B'Av, but Erev Tisha B'Av is still Erev Tisha B'Av. Right? Tomorrow is going to be Erev Tisha B'Av. Right? And it has certain halachas. And as we know, if it would be a regular year, and if the base image is still not built, it has certain halachas. That Erev Shabbos, Erev Tisha B'Av rather, has certain halachas which we have to enforce and abide by. And one of those things you have to mamayet things. As you're getting closer to the day of Tisha B'Av, you curtail your physical enjoyments, your physical activities, and become more involved with the morning duty that you're supposed to have over the base Mikdash. So tomorrow, which is Erev Tisha B'Av, you should try and do whatever you have to do in terms of your preparations for Shabbos early enough before it's Chatzos Yom of Erev Tisha B'Av.
More than a shower?
Excuse me?
More than a shower?
Mishnah only mentions about Chafitas al Rosh. That's what the Mishnah was talking about doing with Hamim. He's going to wash his hair with warm water with shampoo and that type of thing. So whether it applies to everything else, I can't put more words into the Mishnah than it's said. And most of the posting don't speak about it too much. So Pakamai and Rosh or whatever, I guess it's both though. If a person is still, the point I'm trying to make is, even though we're getting close to the Shabbos, right, we're also getting close to what Tisha B'Av really is, right? Even though it's going to be pushed off, because Shabbos is going to say, stop, not Tisha B'Av now, right? Shkia comes, it's now Shabbos, right? But until that point, you're getting close to Tisha B'Av, right? So again, we have to do whatever we have to do for Shabbos. Shabbos takes precedence, but in terms of what it is, and really, in fact, in terms of the date, it's really Erev Tisha B'Av as well. Right? So that takes more precedence, perhaps in some aspects, at least we see by taking the warm shower, whatever it might be. The warm shower, that takes precedence over the preparations of Shabbos. I mean, don't go too far into Erev Tisha B'Av, try and do things as much as early as possible if you can. Again, if that's going to interrupt the schedule for Shabbos and things like this, you have to be careful to weigh things with a very careful balance, not to upset things. There's b'diavad, it's okay if you do it afterwards as well. It's not us in either case, it's just l'chatchila. But then, Motzi Shabbos, after Shabbos is over, comes Tisha B'Av. And I have a commission to make to Rabbi. I had the whole idea of Tisha B'Av completely wrong. Right? I'm not gonna fault my rebbeim for what they taught me, what I learned from them. Hopefully I learned properly from them. Hopefully taught me properly, but I seem to have gotten the wrong message of what Tisha B'Av is all about. I was learning through some of the subbing of the Alpha Mikel, or Simple Zilsis itself. And he speaks about Tisha B'Av. He says, Kol ha'Abel shel Tisha B'Av, the whole grief that we're supposed to feel about Tisha B'Av is on our sins. About our sins. That's what we're supposed to be grieving about. People have a complaint. You've probably heard it, maybe expressed it. I've talked with Kaveri about this. How can it relate to something that happened, I think it was the calendar said, in 1947 or 45, it says, or 47? 47. 1947 years ago. How do you relate to that? It's not
Right,
shy.
it was only 1946, I could have related.
Yes, it was a year. Someone told, I was discussing this with someone yesterday in front of my yeshiva. He told me his mother had this experience. After many years, his mother was a mature woman already. So then our mother took out some old pictures. This is just the old house that we used to live in. And these people here, right? That was my first husband. And these few children there, those are your step brothers and sisters. And they were all killed off by the Nazis in Europe. They never made it out. She, the mother, made it out, but the husband and the other children didn't make it out. Right? But these are your brothers and sisters. Right? The mother of the Talmud Chacham I spoke with in the yeshiva said, well, can you feel sad about that? Intellectually you can feel sad about that, but how do you relate to it? It's an amazing thing. You have a child, he's playing with his little rattle, 2, 3-year-old playing with his rattle, you take it away, he immediately starts crying. Right? No intellectual, it's an automatic response. You took something away from him, he cries. Right? So the basic English wasn't really taken away from us, so how can we cry about it? Right? So that's a very common complaint or excuse why we don't sit down and cry. Even though in previous generations they did cry. Right? You may know the story about Napoleon, who was walking through the streets in Paris on one Tisha B'Av night. And he was common to do that he would dress in common clothes. He wants to see what's going on in Paris and get a feel for the Hamon Am, the populace of the city. So he dressed up in plain clothes and wanders through the streets of Paris. He comes to a certain section in the city and he is crying. Right? He says, what could possibly be wrong in my wonderful Medina, my wonderful Paris? Why would people be crying? This is Paris, the diamond of Europe. Everyone's happy, go lucky, everyone's having a good time. What are people crying in my town for? My kingdom, what could possibly be wrong? So he followed the sound, he came to a shul. He walks in, sees everyone sitting on the floor, candles on the floor, right? Jews, and he turns to the first person who comes in, what's going on? He says, we're crying because our temple has been destroyed in the Holy Land, in Eretz Yisrael. He thinks to himself and he says, I have a lot of, I'm the king, I have a lot of ability to know what's going on in the world. It's my business. I have no information, no reports of any wars going on in the Middle East at this point, right? No wars going on. How could you claim that you're crying about news of your temple being destroyed? He says, no, this happened, 1,800 years ago. He says, Napoleon was impressed by this so much. He said, if you're crying about that today, right, 1,800 years after the fact, or more or less about after the temple was crying, you're still crying about it, it's a symbol that's going to be rebuilt. It's going to be rebuilt.